strike y'all in Street Fighter 3.
Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Well, I got the picture. Now. Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle. I got the picture. Are you ready? World of Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle. Yeah, I've been waiting for this. Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Well, I got the speech battle. Yeah. World of Street Fighter 3. Well, I got the speech battle. Yeah. World of Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle. I got the picture. Yeah. Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Yeah, hey, well, I got the picture. Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle. Well, I got the picture. Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Well, I got it. Yeah, I've been waiting for this. Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle. Well, I got the picture. Fighters ready. Engage. All right. Now, find a new rival. Welcome to the world of Street Fighter 3. Prepare for battle. I got the picture. Fighters ready.
Let me be the lesser of all. Channel Toro Hero Scribble Guy Smas.
Yep.